Hey, this is Elijah with the Oxygen team, and in today's video, we're going to take a look at the Oxygen Header Builder element. The Header Builder element allows us to build a site header with some really nice included functionality. So let's go ahead and add one to this page and take a look at the options we have available. So we're going to click the plus icon at the top left and type header, and then click the Header Builder to insert it. Now, the header builder is composed of a few parts. We have the header builder itself here. We have a header row, which it has by default. And then we have row left, row center, and row right. Let's go ahead and drop a logo into the header row. So we're going to have the header row selected, and we're going to put in an image. And let's choose an image from the library here. Select that image and drop it in. It's a little bit small, so let's bump it up a little bit. Now you can see that this went into the left side of our header row. But if we want to move it around, we can either drag it over here in the structure pane, or we can simply click and drag in the builder preview to move it where we'd like. So if we want it on the right, we drop it there. If we want it in the middle, we drop it there. And if we want it on the left, which is where we want it for this example, we drop it on the left. Next, let's go ahead and add a menu element to this header row. And we want this over on the right, so we're going to click and drag it over there. And now we have a basic header built out really quickly without too much fuss. Now, another thing we can do here is we can have multiple header rows. So to do that, we need to go ahead and select the header builder and click add another row. And we're going to move this row up to the top because we want this to be a little kind of business information banner. So we're going to change the background color to one of our global colors here like this. And we're going to add a text element. And let's double click that and say open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Let's change this text color to white and increase the font weight a bit. And then let's add some social icons on the right side of this row. So let's add and search for social icons and drop those in. Now they're the wrong color and they're way too big. So we're going to scroll down and adjust the styling on these. So let's move them down in size a bit and then change the icon color to white. And then we can just click and drag them over to the right side, which is where we want them to be. Now we need some more space on this header row, so we can click the header row and just click and drag inside the border to move the padding. And we want some padding on the top as well. There we go. So now we've spruced up our header a little bit with this kind of banner over top of the main header portion. Now let's look at how to make this thing responsive. So if we step down in our breakpoints, we're going to see things change a little bit. But at some point, it's going to get a little cramped. So for instance, these social icons don't look so hot like this, and our text is a little cramped. In the primary tab of the properties pane, we can tell it when to stack vertically. So we're on the 768 pixel breakpoint, so we're going to choose that one. And now you can see everything stacks vertically within this header row. We're going to select the text and click and drag to add some spacing below it. We can also just choose to hide this entire row if we want. So let's select the header row again. And over here in the primary tab of the properties pane, we have hide row below. So if we just didn't want to show this on mobile devices, we could just choose the breakpoint and that row is going to be hidden. But in this case, we never want to hide it because we always want to show it. Now, the next thing we're going to take a look at is the sticky header functionality that's baked into the header builder. So to show that off, we're going to add some more sections below this. So let's just add a section and let's give it a background image. So we're going to advanced background and we're going to browse for an image like this. And we're going to go to advanced size and spacing and set its height to 100 VH. That'll let us scroll a little bit, but we need some more scrollability below it. So let's add another section. Let's add a heading and some text. And we'll just drop in some lorem ipsum here in this text element. And we'll give it a title. Perfect. Now let's duplicate that a couple of times to give us some room to scroll. All right, so now if we go back to our header builder, We can now go over to the primary tab of the properties pane with the header builder selected, and we can choose sticky, and we can enable the sticky header. This gives us some options for configuring the sticky header, like how far do we want to scroll before it becomes sticky, what the background color is while the header is sticky. We can disable it for smaller breakpoints because a lot of times on smaller devices you don't have a lot of vertical screen real estate, so having a sticky header can be kind of annoying. We also have a box shadow setting here and a z-index setting. So if we scroll down now, we can see that our header becomes sticky, but we need to give it a background when it's sticky. So let's give it a white background. And you can see now that this just sticks to the top of our viewport after we've scrolled down 300 pixels. We can also set it to fade in if we'd like. If we don't want it to just pop in when we hit that threshold, it will actually fade in if we check the fade in sticky box. You can also hide certain rows when the header is sticky. For example, we probably don't want this little top banner to stick to the top of our viewport all the time, so we can choose the header row, this top one here, and we can choose hide in sticky. So when the header is not sticky, we're going to see that banner, but once it kicks into sticky mode, we're only going to see the other rows that are not hidden in sticky mode. Now let's say we don't want this particular row to be shown in sticky, but we do want some row, like a specially designed row to be shown in sticky. We can actually do that as well. So let's select this second one and let's duplicate it. And let's remove our menu and let's add a button instead. So we're going to search for button and hit enter to drop that in. Let's drag it over to the right. This is going to be our little call to action button. Let's change the button color to something on brand, such as that, and then we'll say buy now. And let's add some spacing to this row as well. So we're just clicking and dragging to move the inside padding on this row. Now we don't want to show this in normal mode. So right now, obviously we have a duplicate row. We don't really want to show both at the same time. So what we can do is we can select this row and say only show in sticky, and that's going to go ahead and hide it. Now if we scroll down, it now shows in sticky, but we don't want the other row to show in sticky. So we can select that row and click hide in sticky. So now we have a bespoke header design for non-sticky. And then when we go into sticky mode, we have another header design. So this is super handy for using one element to design all the different states of your header. And it's really simple, and the logic is pretty straightforward to get everything to show and hide when you want it to. Now, another thing we can do is we can do an overlay header. So if we select the header builder, we can go to overlay and choose to overlay the header. This will cause the header to overlay everywhere, which may be okay depending on your design. But a lot of sites are not going to want to overlay their header on every single page because usually you want an image behind that overlaid header like we have here. So to do it on a page by page basis, we can go to settings, page settings, and set our overlay header breakpoint here. So in this case, we want it to always be overlaid. And now you can see that we have this cool overlay header effect. Now we can do the same thing we did with sticky, but with overlay instead. So this top banner looks okay, but this second row doesn't look so good. So we're going to select that row and we're going to duplicate it. Now this first one, we're going to hide in overlay. The second one that we just duplicated, we're going to only show in overlay. Now we're going to adjust our logo a bit. So this is a kind of dark logo. So we're going to add a white background to it. So we'll go to background, set the background color to white. Let's add some padding. So we'll do 8 pixels of padding all the way around it. And then let's add some border radius here. So we're going to set 8 pixels of border radius. And then this menu over here, we need to change the text to white. So let's choose text and make it white. And then maybe we'll select this section and go to advanced background and add a background overlay so that we can darken it up a bit. So we'll pick something pretty dark, but then lower the opacity on that overlay. So now you can see we have a pretty cool overlay effect. And if we scroll down, we have that sticky effect, but we have basically a different header for each state. If this page was not set to overlay the header, we'll go here and go to never. you see that we have our other arrangement for our header builder being displayed. So this one header builder element allows us to design all permutations of our site header in one location, making it really easy to get kind of a bespoke design feel without having to build a bunch of separate header elements. So again, this is Elijah with the Oxygen team, and that's how to use Oxygen's header builder element. Thank you very much for watching.